here at Dundee and Angus College is using our young STEM leaders to help partner with some schools and provide support to some of the schools in the area that have joined up for the competition this year. So we started a couple of years back doing the first Lego League, and we've kind of built on it quite a lot since then. So I just really want to have a chat about what we actually do and how we do it, what the impact is for the students themselves, because they get quite a lot out of it, and impact on the college. So I don't have loads of slides, but we'll go through these. So firstly, thinking about what we actually do. So for us, so we've got a little picture of our team down there. Usually Wendy's there as well, but she's usually on a giant screen, joining remotely. But that's the basis of our little first Lego League team there. So what we've done, we organise and host the regional first Lego League tournament in the Dundee and Angus region. For the competition, so ours is February the 3rd next year. For the competition, we have 18, actually 19 confirmed schools now taking part in the competition. That's 12 that are returning from previous, and 7 are brand new schools this year as well, which is great. So we're really, really looking forward to that. So what I've just kind of highlighted a few things that we do to kind of make sure we're building on what we've done previously and how we're trying to ensure we have good numbers for the future. So one of the things we've done is sort of really early communications with the schools. So for those that competed last year, we pretty much sent out a thank you email and asked them to register their interest if they were planning on competing the following year, just so we had a kind of vague idea of how many we were looking at. And then we sort of sent out bulk emails to everybody else to see if we could kind of gauge any more interest across the schools as well. So we do that fairly early on to try and get an idea of numbers. One thing as well we've done, so in our little team photo there, we've partnered with other institutions. So we've got Wendy and all her knowledge. We have got people from Dundee City Council, so we've used the RAISE officers there. And we have representatives from MSIP, so the Mitchell and Scotland Innovation Park. So we've used their skills and we've used it to kind of share the loads of organising it all. So it hasn't just been down to us. We've very much shared with everybody, and everyone's brought brilliant ideas to our discussions, and that's worked really, really well. The tournament next year is going to be held at the Skills Academy. So Dundee and Angus College have a Skills Academy at MSIP, where we're going to be actually doing some of our own curriculum teaching there. But we're using that for the tournament. It's a great facility, and it's going to be really, really good for hosting the competition next year. So that's worked really well, is using that kind of teamwork with other institutions. And then we brought in our young STEM leaders. So we've used them, used them. We've used them with their permission to assist the schools. And that's involved them helping the teams. So helping them with building the kits, helping them with coding support as well. So we've had little sort of lunchtime sessions here where I've got them to work through and build the kits so that they know what they're doing. We've had some practice coding, and then they've been able to go out and actually support some of the schools with that. It's usually the primary schools that are needing more help. The secondaries seem to kind of manage, but primary schools sometimes need a little bit more help getting started with some of this. So that's been really, really good. And we've also managed to provide funding and provide kit for some of the schools. So Dundee and Angus College itself has secured quite a lot of funding in terms of STEM activities. So First Lego League fits really very well into that. And we've also had funding from MSIP as well. So this year we've managed to actually sponsor 10 schools and pay for their kits and pay for their entry fee, which otherwise would have probably meant they wouldn't have been able to take part. So it's been really good to be able to offer that out. We've paid for expansion kits and spike robots for some of them as well. So a lot of that funding's come from MSIP for that. So for those that are just completely starting out, we've managed to buy robots for them as well. We do make the schools sign a sort of grant agreement that they're only borrowing the robots, and we do try and get them back if they aren't competing in the following year's tournament. Varying levels of success on that, but often we've found if it's in a school that's perhaps got nurture groups or ASN groups, then we've actually just left the Lego and the robot with them because it's probably going to be much more beneficial to them anyway. But that's worked really well, being able to actually help kind of sponsor teams. So that's kind of overview of what we do. The main thing is thinking really about what the impact on the students is. So what we've done with the Young STEM Leader programme is we've embedded it into a level 6 course. So our certificate in applied science course, we've actually put it as a unit that they have to take. So initially we did that, last year was the first year we did it. And we were the kind of first college in Scotland to bring the Young STEM Leader programme into the courses. So we went through the training and decided to bring it into our certificate programme. It's been really good. We did it in semester 1 last year, but actually on feedback from the students, we're running it across the whole year this year. So we're doing it semester 1 and 2, giving them a lot more time to develop their skills and work with the first Lego League teams as well. Part of the programme, the Young STEM Leader programme, involves the students presenting a STEM activity. So again, this is fitted in really well, with the students being able to go out and work with the schools and work with the pupils. They've been presenting to them. So that's really helped tick off some of the boxes in there. They worked on designing activities. So when we hosted the tournament, we had a STEM activity zone. And the students themselves came up with the activities there and the background information behind them. And they were also then able to talk to the pupils that were coming to visit the stall, which helped again with the sort of presentation aspect. So that's been really, really useful. And Wendy mentioned this as well, the sort of meta and STEM skills. This has hugely allowed them to develop those. So the Young STEM Leader is mainly looking at kind of leadership skills, but will have that communication aspect when they're delivering to people. They have to think about risk assessments. They've got to think about the problem solving. We've mentioned resilience, time management, organisation, all these things. So at the start of the Young STEM Leader programme, they have to identify what skills they want to work on and why. And then at the end of it, they're able to kind of look back and decide which they have developed and which they've improved on. So it's been really, really good for that, just that kind of skills development, that then they're able to put that on a CV and say what they've done. I think often with these skills, though, they don't know they've developed them. So often we have to point it out and say, look what you've done here. You've presented this activity, you've done some problem solving. So sometimes they don't often see it, but it's nice to point it out for them. It's allowed them to visit schools, so it's been really good to help kind of build community links. The students they've been able to go and assist. So whether it was just building the kit, whether it was the coding aspect of them, but it meant that they became really kind of invested in the progress of those teams. They really wanted them to do well in the tournament. So they'd often be quite sort of keen supporters on the day and go round and visit the school they'd been working with and see how they were getting on, and things like that. So that was great. And then they were involved in the event on the day. So each school was assigned a chaperone from one of our students, and they would sort of guide them through the day, so telling them where they needed to be when the robot game was up, when they were allowed at the practice table, when they had some free time. So the students were with them the whole day, and again, it really built up the relationship between the students and the teams and helped them, really encourage them. They were always watching them playing their robot game and congratulating them afterwards. They were so keen to sort of support them through the day. So that was great. The photo there, we actually prepared some goodie bags for all the competitors. So we received donations from lots of the partners that we worked with. So I managed to get the students in to help me, and we made over 200 goodie bags full of lots of different items. But I think that was really appreciated by those that were taking part on the day, and it was really nice to be able to give them something at the end of the day. Okay, so last one then is just thinking about then the impacts on the college itself. So as I mentioned, we were the first college in Scotland to deliver the Young STEM Leader programme. So photograph there is some of the students receiving their certificates once they successfully completed the programme. The feedback from the students was great. They really, really enjoyed doing it. They loved kind of coming up with some of the activities for the STEM events. They loved being able to help out with the students, with the pupils at the schools. Really enjoyed that. But as I said, they felt they needed a bit more time, so we've extended it to run over the full year. They loved sort of identifying, once we pointed it out to them, look at these skills, they loved kind of being able to go back and actually identify what they had developed and what skills they'd got from this. So it was really nice to get that feedback from them. Um, Megan kind of touched on this as well, building kind of links with the schools and the community and getting people into college. These are sometimes people who have never been into a college before. They're not aware of what colleges do, and they are hopefully going to be some people that will come to college in the future. So it was really nice to sort of build these contacts with the schools, with the community. We now have, much better links with schools in the local area, and it's meant we've developed kind of further initiatives through this as well. So not just with First Lego League, we've actually developed further STEM initiatives as well, which has been great. And it gives the college a kind of presence in these areas that are possible, applicants for the future. Lets them see what goes on in college, what might be available for them, not just the pupils, but the teachers as well. Sometimes they aren't aware of what's available in colleges also. So really nice for them to kind of come and see what's here and what we actually do. I think for us, widening the STEM agenda across the region's been a big thing as well. So Wendy is part of this as well. Our regional STEM partnership is promoting STEM across the whole region, and I think this has really helped do that and widen that and seeing how STEM is in everything. And I think it's really helped with that, particularly in some of the primary schools as well. So it was very well promoted. So it's promoted on sort of social media, it gets promoted in mainstream media, and really kind of heightens that awareness of STEM and STEM skills and STEM careers and what is available in the region. Um, and the last thing, very sort of selfishly for us, we were able to claim credits from the Scottish Funding Council for it. So because we were able to work with the schools beforehand, on the day, and we did an evaluation afterwards, it meant that we were able to actually claim some credits. And we managed to make sure that everybody did their evaluation by giving them it. They had to come up on the stage, give us their evaluation forms, and then they got their medals for completing the tournament. So they had to do the evaluation form first, and then they got their medals. But it meant we had all the evaluation forms back. So that actually worked really, really well. Um, so yeah, that's it. I think one other thing I think for me, I've really enjoyed being involved in it. It's given me a huge amount of knowledge and learning, and sort of thinking about how quickly the children learn is something that I was really amazed at as well. So somebody mentioned that the kids had the thing going before the teacher had unpacked the actual instructions, and that was what happened to me when I'd gone into school. I didn't even know much about programming myself, so I took the robot home and got my 9-year-old son. Alfie, come show me how to do it. So he taught me how to do it. But then it meant, and he knew exactly what he was doing, and it meant that I was able to go and share that. But I went into school and the kids had it spinning and playing tunes and all the rest of it before I even knew how to switch it on. So it's amazing to see, how quickly they kind of learn through this as well. So I've really, really enjoyed being involved from that kind of aspect for it.